Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, where we have a brick and mortar shop for you. Also, you can follow us on a place called Instagram. At the Coin Geek is my personal account, and at Old Pueblo Coin is the store account. And today is October 2nd. Welcome to one of the few times I actually tell you what day it is. 2023 Anno Domini, and let's talk a little bit about CAC grading, shall we? Because today is the launch of CAC grading, and everyone who wants to submit through a dealer who has access or a member who has access, apparently at this point in time, can. This isn't necessarily about the launch of CACG, but this has a lot more to do just with the concept of grading and what the market does or doesn't want and does or doesn't accept. I recently made a video about grading ANACS, grading coins, and decided that I should respond to a couple of the comments. A number of you pushed back on how come I put CAC grading in the same category as PCGS and NGC when in fact they don't even accept coins for grading yet from most of their members. So let's think about just kind of the parallels here. It's a fair question. Some of you were snarkier than others, and I actually really appreciate people who put back comments where they are perpendicular to my thoughts, because I like to kind of think about things and try to understand maybe where my biases have misled me or challenge my own perspective a little bit. So CAC grading, going from CAC stickering to CAC grading. CAC stickering has already shown in the marketplace what they do, who they are, and what their value in the marketplace is. Now, does this mean that CAC grading will do the same thing? Well, I mean, in a broad sense, you could always answer that question with no, but it depends on how you're drawing the parallel of what will be done here. My opinion is that they will do fine in the marketplace because they're going from a company that tells you their opinion of the condition of a coin to a company that tells you their position on a condition of a coin. This didn't mean to make a tongue twister there. So it would be one thing if CAC, the stickering company, was going to start grading paper money. And then it'd be like, well, let's wait and see what happens here. In the marketplace, once again, one man's opinion, but through observation, just because PCGS is extremely well respected in the coin category doesn't mean that their paper category is the same. In fact, my observation of the paper market is that PMG, which is NGC's paper grading company, is actually more well respected than PCGS is. So just because you have one doesn't mean that you'll get the other. But I thought this was a whole lot more apples to apples. You know, when you're talking about the coin graders grading coins and still grading coins, you know, I thought that really you have a parallel there. They're not really moving into a different marketplace. I didn't think we were going to get new Coke out of this, right? Now, having said that, it's fair to say, well, Ben, we haven't seen results yet. Okay, that's fair. Is it fair to say that this is some like rich boys club? I think that's just a little bit cynical. But I will say this. I do think you're going to see a lot of dealers who have expensive coins get their coins out of the other holders and into CAC holders. But we'll see exactly where all that leads. That is, you know, stuff that is kind of out of my realm, shall we say. You know, generally speaking, I am not dealing in $100,000 coins, and so, you know, it's kind of hard to really fully understand where the market is or will be on some of that stuff. All right, and another observation is that I think that for the most part, there's actually a relatively small percentage of people who care about CAC. I mean, it's really interesting to me because it's a very fierce, wrong word, loyal group of people. But the people who don't like CACG, maybe they're the more fierce ones. So I wanted to look at a post here on Instagram from Medium Rare Coins and talk a little bit more about this. He also got me thinking more about the marketplace. He seems that the reception is lukewarm to CACG, which is interesting. He says most of this is probably due to the bad luck of launching during a softening market. Well, we can talk about market conditions sometime also. His thought process here is some of the other factors. He doesn't think the photographs are as good as PCGS or NGC. I don't know that that would really contribute to the market or not contribute to the market's acceptance of CACG. The slab aesthetically lacking. He says apparently prone to scratches, which I find hard to believe because all I saw was about how these things don't scratch. But the slab lacking aesthetically, oddly enough, I think that kind of, I honestly think that contributes to Annex's problems. I know that sounds stupid, but the aesthetic is kind of a big deal, I think. I think if your holder is considered not to be as attractive, you know, when the holder first came out and we looked at it, I didn't have any complaints, but it didn't really, there was nothing about it that enthused me. It was just, it was what it was. Let's see what else he's got going on here. He says, until CACG launches its set registry, registry players have little reason to buy CACG coins. This one fascinates me because, you know, it's not the sandbox I play in. I'm not in that ecosystem of building registry sets. I don't know how that affects the market, but it's a really great comment because clearly it affects large sections of the marketplace. One of the things I mentioned earlier, these really expensive coins that I think will end up in CACG holders. But even then, that's not the same group of people we're talking about here, right? Because not as many people who are building registry sets. So if you think of a registry set, you're thinking of lots and lots of coins that may be $1,000 to $5,000 coins, and then you'll step up to some really expensive coins well beyond that. I know $1,000 to $5,000 is already very expensive, but what I'm trying to describe is the different realms of the marketplace. And guys buying $100,000 coins, in my opinion, aren't registry guys per se, right? I mean, it seems to me like those are two different market spaces. I'm happy to hear if you guys think that that's incorrect, because I think they're different market spaces. Moving on, while randomized serial numbers make sense from a purist's view, the thrill of chasing early serial might have created more initial buzz. So what he's talking about is their serial numbers. They are randomized. There's just, you don't know what number you're going to get on something. But so instead of getting this 1, and there would be a collector market for that. 100% guarantee you people who look for early listings would go after that. So there's certain things that they've done against the grain that is actually not in their favor. You know, CACG, this is something that they could have easily done as a draw in and a gotcha. Hey, get one of the first holders that's got serial number 1. That I think would have created a lot of buzz, and they chose not to do that. So bear that in mind when you're being super cynical about where they're coming from and how they do things. I do think they've done things that were not purely for profit. I still see them as someone who wants to grade coins and be in the coin market. All right, so he figures that CACG plus grades would be relatively scarce and in demand, but they seem to be quite generous with them so far. He has a little diagram here showing some of their pop reports on Morgan's. I don't know what date he's showing though, so it's a little bit hard to tell exactly what's going on there. That is something I can't speak to intelligently. Never stopped me before. Go ahead, say it. 6, the stickering service isn't going away soon as a collector, very collector-friendly decision, but one that likely cannibalizes demand for CAC grading. So this has been one of the things that people argued. If you have the stickering company, are guys going to want the coin in your holder or the coin in PCGS holder with a sticker? Okay. This is a great question and a good observation. I don't know exactly what level of cannibalization there is. I think I go back to the initial thought, which is CAC is not as popular as I think it is. In other words, there are people who are NGC only, PCGS only, and they're not getting off the bus. They're not looking at going to buy CAC coins. They don't care. There's a large percentage of people that are probably in that camp. And so once again, the number of people that are in the CAC camp, I think as a percentage, is actually a relatively small percentage of the market. Based on just my cursory overview, there's a lot of people who don't follow this stuff closely, so they don't care. Now, some of you are super passionate about it, and what happens is my bias gets towards, look at all the super passionate people, but really, there's a whole lot of people that are like, or we'll wait and see, we don't care. It's kind of like when people get really excited about the Super Bowl, and you're like, football still? Are we done yet? Right? you might like something a little bit different than what other people like. Or maybe you're just like, yeah, my team's not going to the playoffs in the last 20 years, so I watch them and that's it. So you'll see a lot of that psychology, I think, in this process as CAC starts to launch. Alrighty then, let me see what else here. This one I thought was the most interesting comment I hadn't thought about, and as soon as he said it, my light bulb went off and said, yes. Flooding the market with bullion products as the first CACG coins may have not helped the brand, giving the impression that it's just another third-party grading service. As soon as I saw that, I thought, when I first saw that they were coming out with all the MS70 products, I was surprised. I didn't think that they were going to do that. I had no idea that that was on their list of things to do. I mean, not like I give good advice, but I think that it's not the right move necessarily. I agree with medium rare coins here that I think hurts the brand a little bit, because to me the brand is ideally, and has been, like I said, I think a lot of high-end coins are going to end up in these holders, and so Silver Eagles in these holders doesn't impress me. But also, it's hard for them to not want to service a market area that's that large. So whether we like it or not, us collectively or me individually, Silver Eagles are amongst the most popular, most collected coins out there. They're the modern silver dollar. Everybody wants them. People buy them in large quantities for their family. They buy them slabbed as gifts, and they collect them themselves. All right, he goes on to say he's still bullish on CACG long term. I think it will eventually become the market standard. That's his opinion. The other TPGs, third-party graders, have a huge head start on the non-graded value adds to coin certification, and it may take CACG several years to catch up. So once again, me trying to be objective, just thinking about the whole CACG thing, going to the very beginning, my comments about markets decide things. I mean, my comment in the annex video is I don't control the marketplace. And dealers themselves don't even control the marketplace, because really, if everybody wanted Annex coins, everyone in the collector market, they would go up in value. They would be in high demand on all platforms. And the same has to be said objectively about CAC grading. CAC grading, we will wait and see if there's collector demand for it. But once again, the level of stuff that they're putting out, they are undoubtedly not grading as many coins as PCGS and NGC are to start. The thing that's interesting in the coin ecosystem is that they definitely have a foothold on a segment of the coin collecting population, right? So if you think about all the different things that are in the coin market, whether there's someone who collects errors, or you collect toned coins, or you collect old holders, all these different little segments, when you look at CAC grading, you are looking at a pretty, in my opinion, well-financed area of the market. In other words, there are a lot of dealers who really want CACG to survive, not to survive, but thrive, for various reasons. And not just because they are literally invested, but because they are invested in the idea, right, of having another third-party grading service outside of PCGS and NGC as your third-party graders that people go to. So having said all that, it is launch day. We will be sending something in. I don't know what exactly. You guys bought all my good coins, so now what am I going to do? But I'll find something. Here's a dime. We'll send that in. In the meantime, thanks for all of your comments, thoughtful and otherwise. I actually really appreciate a little bit of snark, but not too much snark, so that I can think about whether or not the things that I'm saying are true or they're just built into all my biases. I see a lot of people who are very excited about CACG, so therefore my bias tends towards that. And I think it's helpful for me to see comments about, well, I'm not really going to buy them, so wah, wah. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.